of macromolecules that we are going to study is a nucleic acid. So these are 3 types of macromolecules that we have to learn. What are macromolecules? Those which are larger in sizes and they have repeating units which are called as monomers. Okay, so here we have these examples that we are discussing. So here comes the other type of macromolecule. Fine. So nucleic acid is another kind of macromolecule then. The one would find it to the acid insoluble fraction. Interesting. They are in acid insoluble. They are acids. Okay. Of any living tissue is the nucleic acid. These are polynucleotides. Okay, fine. These are polynucleotides. Means the repeating unit of nucleic acid, nucleotide. Together with polysaccharide and polypeptide, these comprise the true macromolecular fraction of any living tissue or cell. So in acid insoluble pool, the organic compounds were 4: lipids, proteins, polysaccharides, and nucleic acids, out of which nucleic acid, polysaccharide, and proteins, these 3 are true macromolecule. Lipids are not true macromolecule. We have learned this thing that lipids have a comparatively lower molecular weight. A macromolecule means whose molecular weight ranges in 10,000, means starting from 1,000 to 10,000 Dalton, something like that, or maybe even more than this. So that way, lipid doesn't qualify for a definition of macromolecule. Lipid is an acid insoluble pool. The reason is simple, because it has the association like that. Okay, what kind of association we are saying? Means present as a constituent of membrane. That's it, nothing else. So nextly, if they are saying with the other one that together with the polysaccharides and polypeptide, these comprise the true macromolecular fraction. So the true macromolecules are 3: 1 nucleic acid, 2 polysaccharides, and 3 polypeptides. So here I'm saying that polysaccharides, polypeptides, true macromolecules. These are 2 macromolecules, along with what? Polynucleotides. Okay, right. Going to the next thing. That a nucleotide has 3 chemically distinct components. Nucleotide has chemically 3 distinct components. One is a heterocyclic compound. Remember what is heterocyclic compound? I told you, a ring structure who is having anything other than carbon. Okay, let me write here, because it is not easy to remember when you are going to get these things in chemistry. It is better to remember from here itself. Ring structure having atoms other than carbon. Those will be heterocyclic. Here it is nitrogen. The other type of component or other type of portion is monosaccharide, means a sugar. And third one is a phosphoric acid or phosphate. That's it. So here the monosaccharide is actually a 5-carbon sugar. And we have learned that if the 5 is the number, then I can write pentone. For sugars, we used to write O's, pentose. Okay. Already we have studied something like that in the initial when we were discussing about nucleotides. As you notice in the figure 9.1, black things, the heterocyclic compounds of nucleic acid are the nitrogenous bases, named as adenine, guanine, uracil, cytosine, thymine, adenine, guanine, substituted purines, while the rest are substituted pyrimidines. Okay, here it is written adenine and guanine are substituted purines, while the rest are substituted pyrimidines. Means pyrimidines are 3. How many pyrimidines are there? thymine, uracil, cytosine. And purines are adenine, guanine. The skeletal, the heterocyclic ring is called as purine and pyrimidine respectively. The sugar found in polynucleotide is either ribose, monosaccharide pentose, or 2-deoxyribose. 2-deoxyribose means something who is having deficiency of oxygen. Right? What is the meaning of this word 2-deoxyribose? Like O at second carbon of pentose. A nucleic acid containing deoxyribose is called as deoxyribonucleic acid, while that which contains ribose is called ribonucleic acid. Okay, so if anyone is asking a question like DNA and RNA differs in, the DNA and RNA differs in. So here we say out of this line contain the nucleic acid, depending on what? Deoxyribose, and the other type of sugar, that is ribose. DNA and RNA. Differ greatly in the kind of sugar they have. 5 carbon is okay. 5 carbon sugar is common, but ribose and deoxyribose, these are different. Bases are same. Phosphoric acid is same. So these are two different type of nucleic acid. Now, it is about the structure of proteins, that how the protein structure is formed, and what is the amino acid chain, and all those type of examples. So when DNA and RNA type of difference I have told you already, right? Now comes the structure of proteins. Now proteins, as mentioned earlier, are heteropolymers containing the strings of amino acid. Yeah, clear. Then secondly, that we can say about proteins will be structure of molecule, means the different things in different context. If in inorganic chemistry we are studying the structure, it means invariably refers to the molecular formula only. That's it. Sodium chloride is written as NaCl. That's sufficient, more than enough. MgCl2, like the same. Organic chemists always write a two-dimensional view of the molecules while representing the structure of molecules. Two-dimensional structure. And then comes the other people, physicists conjure up the three-dimensional views of the molecular structures, while biologists describe the protein structure at 4 levels. Okay, this is important. Biologists describe the protein structure at 4 levels. The sequence of amino acid, that is positional information in a protein, which is the first amino acid, which is second, and so on, is called its primary structure. So what are those 4 levels of the protein structure that a biologist is supposed to study? Okay, that a biologist is supposed to study. Out of that, first is primary structure, which I am writing is nothing. It is just the sequence of amino acid, just the sequence of amino acid. Okay, that will be primary. Then a protein is imagined as a line. The left hand represented the first amino acid, represented. Left side is first amino acid, and right hand represented by the last amino acid. Okay, the last amino acid means left hand side. See in the diagram here, they have given something like, see, this is a sequence. So if I'm making a sequence in the same way, and these are nothing, these are amino acids. Then they are saying that this is right hand side, this is left hand side. The right hand side is, as this is last amino acid, you can say the growing end is right hand side. Means a new amino acid is supposed to join, will join on right side or left side? Right side. This is left side, first amino acid. Okay, this is the thing. Remember this. The growing end will be on which side? Right side. Okay, but remember this amino acid chain is not present as such. This is the primary structure, means just the sequence of amino acid, just the sequence, nothing other than that. This thread may be folded, okay, and then it is possible that I am not able to find out the end, so I just open it from the middle or from somewhere else, any place. Maybe I'm going to open it from this place, maybe from this place. Okay, I'll tell you the other ways also. See this, the first amino acid is also called as N terminal. This side, the first amino acid, I can call it as N terminal. What does it mean by saying N terminal? Actually, N terminal is representing the NH2 group. And this will be considered as C terminal. C means COH group. Remember amino acid, substituted methane, having amino group, having carboxyl group. So here we are saying that first amino acid is having a free N terminal. This is last amino acid who is having a free C terminal, COH group. Okay, remember this very clearly. I am saying this is last, this is first. So it means if a new amino acid is going to join here, where? To this side, to the right side, in that cases, the COH group for this amino acid and NH2 group of the other amino acid will join to form the peptide bond. That is the character. Okay. So protein structure, if I say the primary structure is compulsory, it is compulsory. Rest of the structures maybe not present, means beyond the primary structure. So if someone is asking me a question like this, that if anyone is saying, if any new amino acid is coming, a new amino acid is going to join, then it might be going to join at this place, H and H. C, this will be COH. R, this is H. So here is the joining. From here, the last amino acid, COO, will participate. I will write like this. C double bond O, OH. Okay, this is the condition. From here, which amino acid? Last, this amino acid. COH group is there, out of which this OH and here this H will participate to form from here the OH and from here the H will participate. Water will go out. And the bond which is formed between this C, means this CO and here NH is called as peptide bond. So if someone is saying that what peptide bond means, I must have to write, this thing, that a peptide bond is formed between COH group of first, okay? COH group of first amino acid and NH2 group of second amino acid. This is the thing that we can do. Okay, coming to other features then. So the first amino acid is also called as N-terminal acid. Now, other one. The last amino acid is called the C-terminal amino acid. A protein thread does not exist throughout the, so here it is mentioned, the last terminal is called as C-terminal amino acid. Above I have written, N? No, I haven't highlighted these. Okay, a protein thread does not exist throughout as an extended rigid rod. Okay, the thread is folded in the form of helix. Of course, only some portion of the protein thread are arranged in the form of a helix. Some portion they are saying, not completely. In proteins, only right-handed helix are observed. Okay, fine. Remember, means helix means what? I can take this one also. So means helix type of thing is something that we are saying that this is the beginning of a chain, okay, and it is getting turned like this way. So from your side, it may not be appearing as a 3D type of structure, but here I can say that it is getting twisted. Okay, this is how the turns are formed. Now a perfect helix means something like this. Means where the tube or where the things are getting turned by 360 degrees, right? Where they are getting turned by 360 degrees. A helix means what? A helix means this is a fixed point. I am saying that this is a straight chain. Okay. Now helix means what here? Helix means something getting twisted like this. This turn is going to be twisted. Okay, fine. If it is getting twisted, it may appear something like this way. But let it go. I'm saying this is the one turn. It turned, it reaches back to this point, okay, and then reaching to here. Then how much angle is this? So they are saying that this is considered to be one complete turn. In a helix, one complete turn means when this thread turns 360 degree. Means it started from this point, get it turned, this is 180, then again get turned, then it is, sorry, not here, earlier to that one. started from here, 180°, okay, then turned here. This is again 180 more. So this distance, this one, from here to here, will be considered as one complete turn or 360°, or you can call it as a pitch. So this is what we need to remember. Then a protein thread does not exist throughout. It's okay, fine. So this is about the helix. And they are saying that in each turn of this thread or each helix, each turn of the helix is going to have, or one complete turn is going to have 3.6 amino acid residues. The remaining part may be straight. The reason you need to know now why it is getting as a helix. The reason is that there may be some weak attractions or attractions between the component amino acids here. The component as amino acids may be getting attracted. When they get attracted, they try to get closer, which form the helical structure. So where such amino acids are more in number, in those places we are observing they will have helical structure. Remaining portion, they may not have that thing. Okay, yes, it is possible. So here that kind of turns are called as alpha helix. We have named it as alpha helix. Now it is getting helical because constituent amino acids forming hydrogen bonds within the chain, due to which this structure has appeared. So here we are saying one turn. Okay, for the same thing I told you, one turn means 360 degrees, not here. I will write it below, there only. That one turn or 360 degree is going to have 3.6 amino acid. There is nothing like 3.6 amino acid, right? How half amino acid can be there or 0.6 amino acid can be there? It is like if we are going to divide that, how many amino acids are there in the whole chain, then one turn is getting 3.6 proportion. 3.6 amino acids residue. So they may give a numerical question over it. Okay, it's possible, obviously. Now only some of the portion of the protein thread are arranged in the form of helix, and protein only right-handed helix are observed. Okay, so here about the alpha helix, I will say this is right-handed. Means turning towards right. Where it is. Only right-handed helices are observed. Only some portion of the protein thread are arranged in the form of helix. Other regions of the protein thread are folded into other forms. Maybe possible that it may turn into other forms that are called as secondary structure. Now, what are these? In addition to long protein chain, what I said, one new type of bond that I have observed. See, here the amino acid are joined by, these amino acids are getting joined by the thing which are called as peptide bond, going to join by peptide bond. These are joined by peptide bond, these all. If these are joined by peptide bond, then we are saying it's okay. But next to peptide bond in this structure is called as hydrogen bond. Okay, new structure formed is hydrogen bond between the amino acids, due to which alpha helix is formed. Or sometimes we are observing beta sheets. Those who are not able to form stable hydrogen bond, they may be forming beta pleated sheet. Both are considered as secondary structure. Okay. In addition, the long protein chain is also folded upon itself and allow woolen ball type of thing. Okay, and this give rise to the tertiary structure. So it has folded like this way. Everything is mentioned. Now there is a new word here, and that is written as disulfide. Correct the spelling in your book as well. This is disulfide. PHIDE or F is okay. F is equally fine. Disulfide bond. Right? So tertiary structure. So now, this gives us a three-dimensional view of protein. What? Which one? Primary, secondary, or tertiary? Answer is tertiary type of thing. Okay, when it is getting folded in different manner, that is going to give us three-dimensional view of a protein. So tertiary structure is absolutely necessary for many biological activity of proteins. So we are not saying that all the proteins are tertiary proteins. So here we are saying that the tertiary structure has given us the three-dimensional view of protein. Which one? This one. See this folding? This was just mere a sequence which has turned into helical alpha or maybe sheets like beta, and then they are further folded maybe like this. This is giving the three-dimensional view of the protein molecule. Three-dimensional view of the protein. Okay, and then tertiary structure is absolutely necessary for many biological activity of the protein. I'm not saying that all functional protein are in their tertiary forms. They may be, maybe not. So if this is how the protein is getting packed or folded, then if you are going to break this packaging, then from tertiary you will get what? Secondary. From secondary you will get what? Primary. Yeah, this is what happened. Means denaturation of protein means what? Denaturation of protein is a word which is telling us that when you are going to heat a tertiary protein, it will get converted into primary. Right? Digestion is when amino acids are further getting broken down, means the chain, the primary sequence is getting broken down. So a functional protein may have a primary structure, may have a secondary structure, may have a tertiary structure. Protein function because of its structure. If protein is not having its regular structure or functional structure, it will not work. Okay, that's why we are saying that protein means secondary and tertiary are broken. So we are saying that if I'm going to consider that how the function is important, structure is important. So remember that because of the structure, only protein will function. Because of structure. If structure is lost, function is lost. Functional state of protein. We learned it from here only. Functional state of proteins is dependent on structure. Right? Is dependent on structure, not off, on. So functional state of protein is dependent on structure. This is what we are stating. And if it is dependent on the functional state, if it is dependent on the structure, then if structure is lost, function is lost. The question is very simple. What will happen if a protein structure is destroyed? Functional is destroyed. Function is destroyed. Okay. For this, you need to do a numerical type of thing. Then it is better to understand. Some proteins are an assembly of more than one polypeptide. Okay, means they have more than one type of chain or subunits. The manner in which these individual folded polypeptide or subunit are arranged with respect to each other is the architecture of a protein, otherwise called as quaternary structure. So it means quaternary structure of protein is one which is having more than one type of polypeptide chain. So quaternary structure means as an assembly of more than one polypeptide or subunits. That kind of structure we are seeing as quaternary. So adult hemoglobin is such an example. It is having 4 subunits, 2 alpha, 2 beta chains. Many other enzymes are also there, which we are going to study one after another in the chapters or in different standards also. In junior inter, we have this name. In senior inter, we may have different type of names of quaternary structure or quaternary proteins. So here, one by one. First comes primary structure. Then comes secondary structure. Then comes tertiary structure. Actually, here for primary structure, I have started from what? Peptide bond only. Secondary structure is obviously having peptide bond plus disulfide bridges or disulfide bonds also. Tertiary structure is having peptide bond. Is having disulfide bonds and other things as well. So here everything is given. See this. Hydrogen bondings are getting added. Tertiary structure is having disulfide bond. एक minute. Where? Okay, sorry. I missed one thing. And what is that? Hydrogen bonds. Then besides peptide bond, first it is going to have hydrogen bond and then disulfide bond. Right? These are the conditions: primary, secondary, and tertiary. So 2 of these are identical to each other, hence 2 subunits of alpha, beta, they have given about what? Hemoglobin. If I have to write anything special about this one, which molecule? quaternary structure. I will just write one only thing, tertiary quaternary. I will just write that it is the thing which is having more than one unit. More than one polypeptide chain. This is sure for this. Okay, right? So that are the example. Next, other one. Now, what kind of bonds are present in different type of polymers? So in a polypeptide or a protein, just I said, na, the bonds are here. The bonds are given. So the bonds which are present in the macromolecules. So what type of macromolecules have we studied? We have studied the macromolecules, namely three. Okay, what are those macromolecules? Number one is protein. Number two, polysaccharides. Three only are there, the true macromolecules. Three, the nucleic acid. Now, let me tell you, the monomer of proteins means who is going to make the protein molecules. Then we write it as what? That amino acids are forming them. How they are joined? They are joined by peptide bonds. Polysaccharides. The units are called as sugars that are joined by glycosidic bonds. Here these sugars are joined by glycosidic bonds. Then nucleic acid. Nucleotides are the unit, and they are joined by phosphodiester bonds. So these are the characters that we need to know. Okay, what type of bonds are formed? Now remember, peptide bonds with elimination of water. Water will come out when peptide bonds are formed. This is also formed with elimination of water. This one is also formed with elimination of water. Okay, that kind of characters we used to tell. protein, polysaccharides, and nucleic acid. All the bonds are mentioned. See, we have learned how many names of bonds? We have learned 4 names of bonds. Okay, roughly, we have studied something which are called as peptide bond. These are in macromolecules, right? Number second type of bond we have noticed here is glycosidic. Number next, I am writing nucleic acid. Sorry, phosphodiester bond means I just say not diester, even ester is enough. Even writing the word ester is fine. In all of them, water is given out. In all of them, water is given out. Okay, and these compounds are getting these units, the amino acid getting joined. Here sugars are getting joined, and here nucleotides are getting joined. We have many example of this, that how the things are getting joined. So let's see, is really that dehydration is taking place? Yeah, obviously. Obviously, it's taking place. Very simple. C6H12O6. In the last class, we have studied there are 2 hexose units in sucrose, means cane sugar or table sugar. Now they are supposed to form C12H24O6, sorry, O12. But the result is actually something different. It is like this, C12H22O11. This is the formula of sucrose. This is glucose and fructose. Yeah, water is eliminated. Okay, so it is joining of the bonds. It means if sucrose is required to be broken down, I need to add water so that I will get glucose and fructose. Hydrolytic breakdown. That is done by lysosome also. So we have all such examples. Everywhere we have the same kind of example. One, we have learned about glycerol and fatty acid also. They were also making esters. Okay, so I have all the type of example where water is eliminated. I can say very simply that water is eliminated when one by one, all the possible things. One amino acid joins the one amino acid. Joins to other amino acid. Two, second time. If we have second thing, then a nitrogen base, the heterocyclic ring, binds with pentose, yeah, in formation of nucleoside. Third, all I will say, all. One sugar binds with other sugar molecule. Array. Fourth, one nucleotide binds to another nucleotide. All the places, see which bond? Peptide bond. Which bond? Glycosidic. And CNC glycosidic bond. Here, COC glycosidic bond. Here, ester bond. Next, glycerol binds to fatty acid. In all these 5, water is eliminated. Okay, for sure. You people can take the pictures of this. Next, we will see this paragraph also, what they have mentioned. So here, if someone has missed the yesterday's last class, we have underlined something here, wrote something on these pages which wasn't saved by me, by mistake. So it has been lost. Today we have started from here nucleic acids. This is second protein remaining part. And this is about the binding of molecules. Hello.